129 Entertainment Podcast. I don't know what week it is anymore. I've officially hit the point where I do not care what week it is. I can finally stop saying it. I can stop thinking about it every single week. Rachel Foy, welcome.
Hello.
Funny story. You were on the short list of people who were originally going to be on the show first. And then we actually sat down, recorded a show. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know how it broke, but it broke. Shit broke. It was actually really good, like hour and a half show too.
I'm sure I have a theory that you just didn't like what we talked about and deleted it.
Okay, that's not true, because I definitely call it out when I don't like it. Like, I've got people who I text, hey, listen, the show sucked. It's not going to go out. Well, I don't say it like that, obviously. But I kind of go, hey, man, I don't think the show's going to go out. It just didn't work out. I've scrapped like large productions already.
Oh, really?
Oh, swear to God.
Oh, brutal.
There was one show in particular that I have like 7 or 8 people who are really upset with me that I basically said, this isn't going to go out. Oh, and they're like, wait, what? Yeah. So that kind of sucks. Okay. First of all, if you're sitting here thinking, wow, I really don't want to listen to the whole show, but there are definitely parts of it that I really want to listen to, you could go to YouTube, 129 Entertainment on YouTube, and we post these in clips. So if there's little things you want to hear about and you don't want to listen to the whole show, well, there you go. I made your life a little bit easier. Also, if you want to write into the show or see something different, go to 129ent.com/podcast. You can send me a message. And hey, guess what? Wesley Christmas special is coming up. I don't know if you've heard about this yet.
I have not.
The whole Wesley family is going to sit down and record a show, and the dogs are going to be involved, I guess. Oh. And we have sweaters now. I just found that out.
Very exciting.
That's what I said. The second I told my mom, yes, this is a go, she went off. And yeah, that's going to happen, I guess. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know what's going to happen. It may not even be good, but it's going to go out one way or another because I got too many people asking about it now.
Oh, that's fine.
Anyway, Rachel Foy, you are one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Aww.
I've never heard you say a bad thing about anybody.
Aww.
It kind of freaks me out a bit because I don't think you ever have bad thoughts. You are incredibly smart, and you are so smart that my mom always said that I will never be a Rachel Foy. You've never heard this?
I have. It just makes me sad. I feel so bad.
You know my mom. Everybody knows my mom. Everybody knows she's kidding. Obviously, but
I still feel bad.
It's still really funny. I'll be honest. Anyway.
Well, thank you.
So basically, I'm Rachel Foy 0.5. That's all. That's all I'm saying. All right. WTF is going on in Nerd News this week. This is kind of a hodgepodge because I'm not totally sure when the show is going to go out. It's going to go out pretty soon. I just don't know when for sure it's going to go out. So anyway, this is kind of what's been going on. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse released. It made $3.5 million in its opening night. It's expected to top the box office this weekend. So it kind of gives you an idea of when we're recording. I showed you the trailer for this.
Yes.
You didn't see it beforehand.
Mm-mm.
But this movie looks really good.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? That's kind of what I said when I sat down and I saw this trailer. I go, what the hell? Where did this come from? And how did it look this good? I don't know. Give me your little like short reactions. I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to get at.
Thoughts. Okay.
Little thoughts.
I would say that it's a very interesting feel to it. I do like the uniqueness of it. I appreciate that. It's not a very typical, and we can get into this a little more. I have some thoughts, but it's not a very typical like superhero movie, and it's interesting to me that it's animated. That's
I'm so excited about that.
I think that's a very interesting choice, but considering like what I gather from the trailer with it combining a lot of different universes, like
the Spider-Verse
or whatever. I think that that's probably the most suitable like way to do it.
I agree. Do I think Into the Spider-Verse could have succeeded as a live action movie? Yes, I do. Do I think it would have been done as well as this movie per se could do it? No, I don't think so. I think comics actually have a really good home in animation. I think that's something in comics haven't really done yet. But first of all, let's look at the DC movies. They have a really, not the DC movies, but the DC universe actually has a really good animated universe. It's more of an anime style. I'm not a huge anime guy, so I can't really talk to it. But if you go back to the Justice League cartoon, Justice League Unlimited or whatever it was called, that. Right? That's what I said. Good. I think that to this day, that's the best recreation of the Justice League ever done. I think that comic books in general have a really good home in animation. And I think Into the Spider-Verse is Marvel's first strong foray. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably a word. Strong take on the animation style. I really hope that this movie succeeds. This movie only cost $90 million to make, first of all, which is like dirt cheap. Okay. Honestly, well, not dirt cheap. You know what I mean? For Sony, this funny. Is dirt cheap.
90 million.
Just whatever. Throw it out the window. But I guess the soundtrack probably costs way more to make. I haven't played you the soundtrack yet, but I listened to it while I was prepping the show today.
Okay. Really good?
It was like Black Panther quality good.
Oh,
I swear to God. Which, not even going to talk about Black Panther, but
okay.
Anyway, Smash Bros came out. Are you a Smash Bros person?
Yes.
Yes,
I am.
Okay.
No, we can. I grew up with Smash Bros. Like
one of those
we
kids.
I had like Nintendo 64, and then we also played like GameCube. My brothers and I. I would always be beat by them, but I think that they're just really good players, so I'm like an average player.
Okay,
I would say. I like average. If I played someone else, I'm not horrible. But yeah, I mean, it's just a part of like what I was exposed to with video games growing up. We didn't have like a ton.
Right.
But that was one of them that was really popular. In my family. So
I don't know. It's Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's coming out on Switch. I'm glad Smash Bros. Has made its way to the Switch. Like, I'm glad that I can pick up my Switch, walk away, play Smash Bros. Like maybe waiting for class, before work, something along those lines. I think that's an awesome time to get into Smash Bros. That being said, I've never been that big of a Smash Bros. Guy. Like, I'm the same as you. I grew up with it. My friends played it all the time. Yeah. I was never all that good at it, so maybe that's why I like it.
You're like, I hate this garbage.
This is terrible. Who could ever play this? Nobody likes this game. This is stupid. But no, it's never really clicked with me. I love the idea of, everybody coming together for a fighting game. Like, don't get me wrong. I like that. That's really cool. Mm-hmm. I played like 20 or so matches. Me and Wyatt have. Wyatt is absolutely head over heels in love with it. He's trying to unlock all the characters. He loves Smash Bros. He's totally into it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just something that I never really clicked with. So I can't really talk to it. That being said, it has such a good fan base. I can't really say anything bad about it. I've never heard anything. I think I'm the only person that's ever said something bad about Smash Bros. That's how bad I think I am.
Yeah. I think that there's just something nostalgic about it, but also I think it's just the concept in general, like a fighting game with a lot of cool characters.
Exactly, it's a good idea
like that. Yeah, I really enjoy it, but it's okay that you don't.
It's fine. No, one person in the world does only Smash. It's fine. Anyway, Jason Momoa said in an interview that Henry Cavill is still playing Superman. So I told you in prep that the DC universe is such a soap opera at this point that I almost have to turn my brain off every time something gets mentioned. So I told you almost a couple months ago, Henry Cavill was reportedly out as Superman and Ben Affleck was following as out as Batman, which basically just throws the DC universe out the door. Does not matter. Put the rest of the movies you have in production out, and then let's turn the ship around. I guess that's not true now. I mean, there was never an official word for Henry Cavill if he's out or not. I think it was kind of just a reported thing. But Jason Momoa on the red carpet saying he's not out, I don't know if that's the most reliable thing, but maybe he just hasn't heard anything. I don't know.
Yeah, I would hope for DC's sake that that's not the case. I just don't think that you can. How do you salvage that? If
you don't salvage it.
Yeah, you have to restart again.
But here's the thing. That's where I come back.
Okay.
So the X-Men is going to be going through this. X-Men is going to be getting revamped. I assume that's not official, but I would assume if the MCU gets its hands on the X-Men, it's going to totally get redone. What? Do you not like the X-Men either?
No. Well, no. I like the X-Men movies.
I'm not a big X-Men guy.
It's like we're redoing it again. I'll
get to it eventually.
Okay.
Just wait. So I assume they're going to redo the X-Men when the MCU gets its hands on, which I think that's exactly what DC should do. I think it should start over. I think you should give it into put the entire series into the hands of somebody who has a capable vision. Somebody needs to pitch them an idea. That being said, I'll pitch you an idea. I got a million ideas for DC can do with it. Give me.
They're like Parker with Wesley.
Give me the ropes.
Us.
I could name you 50 people right now that would probably put out a good DC universe. But first of all, I've said this 50 times. Why don't we just make it an MCU clone? Like, I know this is taboo to say, but why don't you look at everything the MCU has done And you kind of do the same thing. Why don't you start small? Why don't you put out a couple solo films? You build up these characters, and then we do the whole throw them in a hodgepodge, see what happens.
It does seem like if they're going to do the whole Justice League thing, that it is kind of necessary because you don't really care about each individual member yet because you don't really know a lot about them.
Did you see Justice League?
I did. I don't remember much about it.
Sounds about right. Did you care about Cyborg?
No.
Exactly. You don't remember. Did you care about the Flash?
Nah.
Did you care about?
I like the character Flash.
Did you like him in the movie?
Yeah, I don't.
Did you like Aquaman?
Yeah.
All those characters were just thrown in the last minute, and we were told to care about them. That being said, did you like Cap? Well, I guess you didn't, but when Captain America came on in the Avengers, we all knew who he was. We all liked him. When Iron Man came on, we all loved him. When Thor came on, we weren't so sure about him yet. Wasn't that great? He got better later on.
Yeah.
But we kind of cared about him. And I thought that was awesome. And then all these characters were developed. And then we threw them together, and that's why we liked it so much. That being said, Justice League skipped all that. They built up Batman, kind of. They built up Superman. Not how everybody liked him. They could have really did some good stuff with Superman. They didn't, but that's kind of how it is. I've said so many horrible things about the DC universe. It's just like, I feel like I'm kind of just blowing gas at this point.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can really do.
Yeah. I don't think that they're not going a great direction right now, but I honestly like the characters. Like, if we're just looking outside and looking at the two universes and like the characters in each one, I prefer DC.
No, I agree with you. I actually completely agree with you. I love the DC characters more than I like the Marvel characters.
They're a lot more interesting to me.
They are.
I don't know. Yeah.
They seriously are. Like, they're all built better. Like, they're all kind of human in their own special way. And that's what we liked about them. They're not these, like, the best comparison I ever heard was the Marvel series it's like humans becoming gods. I think it's what it was. And then the DC universe is gods becoming human. I think that's how it goes. I could be completely butchering that, but if you ever heard that phrase,
that's interesting.
You kind of know what I'm saying. And that was the comparison between the two. So if you think about it, Superman's a god, Wonder Woman's a god, Aquaman's a god, all these people, but they're all becoming human because they're protecting the human world. And then in the Marvel universe, it's all these people that become gods, with the exception of a couple people. It's like Captain America, becoming so-and-so, Iron Man becoming so-and-so, Spider-Man becoming so-and-so. And that's kind of what the comparison between the two is. I think the idea of gods becoming human is a far more interesting thing of seeing how these people walk around life, and I kind of have to have people not necessarily afraid of them, but how they react to them and how they protect them. I think that's a way more interesting story to tell. And we kind of butchered it. That's the thing. It's like, why aren't we kind of just going with what we have, which the DC comics are 10 times better than Marvel comics, by the way. Like, it's not even a fair comparison. Like, when I was on my comic binge a couple months ago, it's all I read. I couldn't read Marvel comics. They just weren't that interesting. They're just not good stories. And DC has, for every good Marvel story that's in a comic, DC has 10. And I strongly believe that. Like, there's so much better just source material.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're kind of just throwing garbage at the DC universe. And I don't like doing that. I don't like doing this reactionary stuff. So if somebody said, Rachel Foy, how do I fix the DC universe? What would you do?
Go back to the Dark Knight.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So you would just go off with Christian Bale stuff?
Well, I don't need like Christian Bale.
Thank God.
Like, I don't actually... I don't know how I feel about Christian Bale, actually.
Don't get me wrong. I didn't hate those movies. I actually really enjoyed the Dark Knight movies.
The Dark Knight is like one of my top 10 movies.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I like Dark Knight Rises better, but...
Oh, really? Interesting.
I'll have that debate with you, but Dark Knight Rises... it's a far better movie than it gets credit for.
No, I enjoyed that movie too. I just really liked
I don't blame you.
The Dark Knight. I think this is more of my preference kind of thing.
That's the perfect time to say it.
With The Dark Knight, I was looking back at this recently, and I kind of concluded though that The Dark Knight is more of a crime movie than a superhero movie.
I completely agree with you. It's not a superhero movie.
It's very dark.
It's not a traditional superhero movie. It's a human becoming a god. And that's kind of what a DC, like, again, goes back to the DC topic. It's a human doing godly things. And that, I think Batman is the only character that could have succeeded in the style of movie that Dark Knight was. It's because it was this vigilante who did, crazy things to basically defeat crime. That's really, if you boil down the Dark Knight, that's all it was. It was a human doing crazy things to defeat crime. Batman's the only character that could have done that, because if you would have had Superman, if you would have had Wonder Woman.
I do agree. Now that I think about that, though, it is a very Batman specific thing. You can't really, what I appreciate about the Dark Knight, I guess, is that there wasn't a ton of special effects or something like that. It was very like raw and real, despite the fact that a guy's like running around in a bat suit. But
the crazy thing is, if you go back and watch those movies, all that stuff could be done. You're like believe me, it's a far stretch.
You're like, it could happen.
Like, it could happen. There's like a couple things where I'm like, all right, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. A guy like surviving burns on half of his body where literally he can't blink. I would think that would just be the worst.
The worst.
Does he have eye drops? Like, he's just constantly like,
I never thought about
they're
that.
like having a conversation, like really serious, and he's just like, give me 1 minute. I gotta okay.
I never thought about that. If he's carrying around eye drops.
It's brutal. I don't know how he does it. It's amazing.
I've never reconsidered a movie like I have now. It's like, well, I guess.
And anything could fly into his mouth, like any bugs, because like that's all open. That's messed up. That's really gross. I'm
looking at the Dark Knight in a completely different light now.
That's the one thing. Like, Two-Face is like, no, that wouldn't happen. But other than that, yeah. But I think you're right. Getting back to, I do agree that you can't just, you can't just throw like Superman into that world.
No,
it's way too dark. And like Superman is a much more pure Superman. Like he's got too much of, I mean, Batman has a moral code. Well, he did. And then in the new stuff, like, he like killed people and it was like,
don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
But
I will lose my mind.
He had a moral code. But Superman is very much like good boy.
Goody two shoes.
Yeah. And I just don't know how well. And again, like the special effects doesn't
I agree with you.
Fit.
It's funny because I think Superman should have the best superhero movie ever. And this, and here's, well, not necessarily. I don't think the best Batman movie's been done yet. I think Batman still has a really, really, really good movie just waiting to happen, because they've never hit on the world's greatest detective side of Batman. That's the thing. Batman is these. And what I said in a show a while ago is I said you should get the Jason Bourne writers on the phone and you should write this as a Batman movie. I'm very serious.
Okay.
Because if you go back and you watch the Jason Bourne movies, it's a guy who's 20 steps ahead of everybody else. And it's almost like you never worry about what he's going to do, because every time you see something like that, you're like, oh shit, he's thought about that the whole time. And that's what I think a Batman movie should be, because this guy is so much smarter than everybody else. And he's always 20 steps ahead. And then the villain complex would be what happened when you find somebody who's also thinking that far ahead. What happens when those two clash? Because you never saw that in a Jason Bourne movie. It was always just Jason Bourne against the world. What happens when it's Batman versus somebody who thinks equally as much as that person does? And that's what I think the best Batman movie could be. That's why I don't think I've seen yet.
I think the beauty of the Dark Knight, if I may, like,
no, that's fine. This is a podcast. We can do whatever the hell we want.
The Joker, the whole character of the Joker is that he's so unpredictable, and they have like a conversation where he's a man who doesn't actually want anything. He just wants to see the world burn. And that's the thing that, how do you plan for a person like that? How do you like that? That was the difficulty with Batman, is that like,
that's the conflict.
How do you defeat someone who you can't reason with?
Yes. And I do think that's why Joker is probably one of the greatest villains of all time, because he's such a perfect opposite of Batman. And Batman is so strategic and so good. And what happens when you take somebody who is the complete opposite and just wants to see you suffer. I think that's why Joker's such a good villain. I love the Joker.
Yeah.
And I do think the Dark Knight did the Joker the best in movie sense. I think the Joker's been done better in other instances, but I'm talking like the Arkham games. I always say the Arkham games is my Batman next to the animated series, just because Kevin Conroy. I do think that the Arkham games Batman is the best Batman of all time, because that is the world's greatest detective Batman. Dope. Oh my God.
I will give you that.
So I do think the Joker, and I think that would be the best conflict to see in a movie like that, is what happens when you take a guy who's 20 steps ahead and what happens in a guy who we can't predict. And like, yes, we've seen that complex in many movies before of somebody who's so smart, and then what happens when somebody is 20 steps ahead. I feel like we see that a lot. But when you see somebody like Batman, which Batman is different from other people, I think people like to forget that superheroes are on a different level. And what happens when you see that conflict, I think that'd be actually really interesting. But I don't know. I feel like if I could write a script for a movie, and like, don't get me wrong, I never want to make movies. That's such a difficult job to do.
Okay.
But if I could write one movie or direct a movie or produce a movie, it would be a Batman movie. I think I could actually do a really good Batman, which I don't know. It's a weird thing about Parker. It's like the only thing he would do. But anyway, the best superhero movie that should have ever been done should be a Superman movie. I think a Superman origin story could have the possibility of being the greatest superhero movie of all time. Here's why. Superman is such an awesome character once you get to know him. And I like, for the longest time, don't get me wrong, I thought like Superman has a goody two shoes, nobody likes him. But the idea of a god playing human is such an interesting story that I don't think has been fleshed out yet. It really wasn't fleshed out in Man of Steel.
No.
What happens when you take a guy who is so much better than everybody else and can win every single battle he's ever been in, and you put him in a world where he can break everything on accident? I think that's a story that we haven't seen of Superman yet. And Greg Miller is a really good example. He's a video games guy, and I listen to him. So that's kind of where I got my love of Superman, because he always tells all these awesome stories.
Okay.
So he told this story of, it was in a comic book one time of Superman, and he was in this is when Superman was a kid, and he was in his room and he's just crying and screaming. His mom comes upstairs, his Earth mom, and she goes, what's wrong? And he just goes, I can hear everyone. He can hear all the bloody screams. He can hear everybody dying all around the world. And he goes, how am I supposed to deal with this? And that's things that you don't see in a typical superhero. Like, what happens when you can't save everybody? Think about it. You can hear every single person dying in the world.
Yeah, that's actually horrible.
That's horrifying to think about. And you have to listen to that all the time. And he goes, well, how am I supposed to deal with this? And that's an awesome complex to deal with. I think that's why Superman is the most human alien of all time. And I think that's why he could have probably one of the greatest movies of all time. I don't think it's meant to ever hit on, because everybody wants to show Superman, coming in, destroying everybody, just wrecking the place, and then destroying buildings and stuff like that. I don't think that's what a good Superman movie is. I think a good Superman movie is showing how he becomes human and how he comes from a world that is so much different that he never knows, and that he's such a fish out of water. I think that's the Superman story that we need. I don't think it's the one we've gotten yet, but
it's like a Batman.
Yes, it's
the movie we need.
It is the movie we need.
Deserve.
Oh my God, don't deserve it. But yeah,
we deserve it. We deserve it.
I don't know. That's why I think there are so many DC movies that could be good, but
that's a really interesting point.
It's not even my point to make. I'm totally making somebody else's point. I butchered it, but yeah, I do think that could be the best superhero movie we just haven't seen yet. I don't know. What is your favorite? So Dark Knight is your favorite superhero movie?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I think mine might be Logan.
Oh, that one's
Did you see
too.
Logan?
Yes.
Oh my God. I think that might be my favorite superhero movie because it was so different.
I'm surprised you like that one.
Oh my God. I loved it.
Okay.
Like I walked out of Logan on the borderline bawling my eyes out.
Yeah. I thought you weren't.
I'm not an X-Men guy.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not even a big Hugh Jackman guy. Well, I was after I saw the movie. Like I was never a Wolverine guy. I didn't like the X-Men. I really don't like the X-Men. I've just never seen the X-Men like done well. There's probably great comics. I've heard good stories. I've just never been an X-Men guy. And then I walked out of Logan and on the verge of tears. Like that's how much I enjoyed that movie and how like deeply connected I got with a character who I've only been around for 2 hours.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that might be my favorite superhero movie. That and Infinity War. I don't know. Remember we were talking about news like 35 minutes ago and I was kind of just bitching about the DC?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a tangent, man.
Yeah. It just down the rabbit hole.
Anyway, did you see the canceled Daredevil?
I personally have never watched it, but
Netflix shows?
Yeah. But
I don't blame you.
that bad?
I don't. There are people who love them. Like, don't get me wrong. There are people who really love them. Okay. That being said, I've seen every season of Daredevil. Season 1 was excellent. How many are there? 3 seasons. Okay. Season 1 was excellent. Season 2 was okay. Season 3 was miserable.
Oh no! Why?
I watched all of season 3 because I was so involved in Daredevil. Like I was involved in the ecosystem, I guess you could say. So I really enjoy season 1. And like I said, season 2, season 3, and the villain in season 3, the secondary villain, was so bad. It might be my least favorite villain of all time.
Really?
So this guy, I guess his name, it might be Boomerang, it might be Deadshot. I don't know. He's a bad Deadshot clone. He basically throws things. That's his superpower. He's an ex-military guy, kills people.
Batman.
Whatever. Bad Batman. And he throws things. That's his superpower. He throws things, and he's really accurate. That's it. And also he likes to kill things.
He could have like made a different career choice in like maybe the Olympics. Maybe if they had like boomerangs or something.
Yeah, he's got parent issues.
I'll do it.
And like that's what it came back to like 50,000 times in that show. And I was just like, let's get this miserable show off. Yeah. I was so done with it. But yeah, people love Daredevil. Anyway. Continuing on the theme of superhero movies, they're overrated. Did you see, I guess I told you this, but Black Panther is a favorite to be nominated for the best picture at the Oscars. How do you feel about the Oscars in general? Let's get that out of the way.
I think that the original thought behind the idea behind the Oscars has kind of lost its meaning.
Okay.
I think that it's become a little bit too much of a
stage to share your political beliefs.
Yes,
I agree. And no one's arguing that.
And it has to be the beliefs of the Academy or whatever for it to be well received. And I'm not saying that the movies that are nominated are bad. No. I just think that sometimes that when you see which ones win over other ones, you kind of sometimes question like what really was the thought was it truly a better film, or was it that you just particularly liked the message behind it? And I think a lot with the movie has to do with what was the point that you were trying to make. I think that's important.
Right.
But I think how you do it is very important as well. And I think some films do it better than others, but don't get the credit that they deserve because they didn't have a particular message that they wanted to hear.
That the Academy wanted to share. So the idea of people coming together to celebrate the movies of the previous year is a good idea. Okay, that's awesome. I think that's cool. I think that I think movies need to be celebrated, especially movies that do something different. Black Panther did something different. I think Black Panther did something groundbreaking. I think that's awesome. I think Black Panther needs to be celebrated. Was Black Panther one of the best movies of 2018? No, it was not. It's not even close. I don't even think it's in the top 10 MCU movies, the best MCU movies. I don't even think it's in the top 10 best movies of 2018, honestly. I don't think so. That being said, it's being awarded because of the stance it took. And if that's what the Academy wants to do, fine. Go ahead. Let's do that. Don't make it the best movie then. Let's make it what movie did the most for the cinema industry in 2018.
There should be like a category,
right?
Kind of with that topic.
Yeah, I agree.
And
what did the most for the movie industry in 2018?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad award to give out. That being said, Black Panther wasn't the best movie. Wasn't one of the best movies of 2018. Now, if it comes in January 23rd and it comes out that Black Panther wasn't nominated as one of the best movies of 2018, fine. I'll eat my words. I don't care. That's fine. But that being said, the Academy doesn't have a good track record. Okay. Let's get that out of the way. So
I don't even remember which ones have won in the past.
Yes. I think it's a huge issue. And movies are made to win Oscars. I think that's something that people don't really like to think about. A lot of the movies that win Oscars were made to win an Oscar. Okay.
Oh yeah. Checking off the boxes.
They weren't made to be a good movie. Well, maybe they were made they're made to be a good movie, but they were made to win an Oscar. Okay. That means they have a certain list of boxes to check. And, that kind of wins you an Oscar at the end of the day so that they can call it the best winning Oscar. That being said, those movies probably flopped at the box office. Okay. I would say, this is me talking out of my ass, but I would say 7 out of the 10 or 3 out of 5 best movie nominations probably flopped at the box office. That being said, Black Panther, if it gets nominated, probably one of the few that actually did really well at the box office. And I think that's an issue because that means that those movies obviously were good for a certain audience, but they weren't good for the audience that went to see them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. No. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely does. Just like it's not, the Oscars aren't really for the general public.
No, I agree.
And
if that's what the Oscars wants to be, that's fine. That being said, I think the viewership of the Oscars should continue to decline. And if it wants to be held in a ballroom at some point where it's just the people in Hollywood come together and give each other awards, that's fine. That's what the Oscars should be. That being said, should I look at the Oscars and give it this high recognition because this movie won an Oscar? No, I don't think that's what it should be because my taste in movies doesn't coincide with what the Oscars' taste in movies are. The Academy's taste in movies are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you had a really good point about how the Oscars has just become a stage for people to share their political views, which do I think that's where should movies have political views? Yes, I absolutely believe movies should have political views. I think everybody should have a political view and people should share them. People should argue their ideas. People should have a good dialogue so that we can come together and make a better place. That being said, do I want to sit for 3 hours? Which is that what the Oscars is now? 3 or 4 hours?
It's long.
It's stupid long. Should I want to see Meryl Streep go on stage and talk for 25 minutes about her political beliefs? No, I don't care. I'm sorry. I don't want to watch that. Will I watch the Oscars? Probably, because me and my mom love to watch the Oscars.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm such a hypocrite when I talk, but people know this by now. Anyway, it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm coming back to where I'm saying a lot of problems, but I'm not giving a lot of solutions.
Yeah.
I think the movies should be more political. I think the Oscars shouldn't. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I think agree. The movies should make stances rather than the people in the movies coming out to make stances when they have the spotlight.
Yeah, I think
Black Panther was a political movie with an idea behind it, and I think it made the world a better place because the Black Panther came out. I'm glad about that. Would I say, again, I don't think it's best picture. Do I think it deserves recognition for that? Yes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that, like we just said, I think that there should be a category for that kind of movie as well, because as I've watched more and more movies over time, I think that I do appreciate a movie with like a good message of some sort. But I don't think that every movie needs to have that. Like, I think that there's so many genres that people enjoy that don't necessarily have something groundbreaking or amazing. But I think that just a unique story being told in a very good way should
receive more recognition.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I'm not denying that.
I think a good crime movie should get good recognition or something like that it doesn't necessarily all the time have to be. But I do agree that if you want to, a movie is a perfect place to do it.
Yes.
But I do agree that it does seem a little shoved down your throat during the Oscars, that it's like,
I have the microphone, so let me speak.
Yeah. And it's really not what it's about. And if that's what they're trying to make it about,
fine.
Then
I'm not going to watch it then.
Then make it clear that it's like,
yeah.
I know that they can't come out and just say like,
this is our time to share our political views with you. Yeah. Let us tell you why we're right and other people may be wrong.
But I think they're kind of making that statement slowly, and the viewership
kind of suffering because of it.
Reflects that.
I think award shows in general are suffering. I don't know how the Game Awards did, but I guess we'll talk about that a little later. But I don't think award shows in general are, first of all, that interesting to watch. Like, if I hadn't been watching the Oscars for the past 10 or so years with my mom, I wouldn't be watching the Oscars. That's really what it comes down to. I'm watching it because of tradition at this point.
Yeah.
Which do you think was a better movie, Black Panther or Black Panther: The Dark Knight?
Dark Knight.
Okay, Dark Knight wasn't nominated for Best Picture in 2009. Black Panther probably will be nominated for Best Picture in 2018.
Yeah.
I think 9 out of 10 people would agree Dark Knight is a better movie than Black Panther. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you're. Well, I'm definitely biased towards the Dark Knight.
I agree.
Though.
But I think a majority of people would be biased towards the Dark Knight because it is a lot of people's favorite movie.
Yeah.
That being said, Black Panther Dark Knight was not nominated for Best Picture. Was it nominated for a ton of other stuff? Yes. But we're arguing Best Picture right now. Is Black Panther Best Picture? No, I don't think it is. I don't even, God forbid it wins. That's all I'm saying. God forbid it wins because it wasn't even the best MCU movie to come out that year. Yep, you're here first. Infinity War was a better movie. I enjoyed it better. I will die on that hill. That is a hill I'm willing to die on. It's a better movie. Man, I got so angry thinking about the Oscars the other day. Like I literally was sitting at work and I'm scrolling through this and somebody just tweeted. It was like Black Panther favorite to win Best Picture. Just like no, it wasn't even that. I was fuming. Like I was sitting there, I was so angry. Like my coworkers were looking and said, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "You think Black Panther wins Best Picture?"
Just need a minute.
I was losing it thinking about it. I'm like, what? Because I remember walking out of the movie disappointed, honestly.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I walked out of Black Panther. I was like, that's not as good as I thought it was going to be.
I do agree that I felt that it was a little overhyped as well.
It was so overhyped.
But that partially is...
Which, that's our fault.
Well, I think part of it is my view also on, like, a lot of...
You don't like Marvel movies, okay? We can get that out of the way. You're not a huge fan. We'll save it now. We're going to save it for later.
Wait. Oh, yes.
We'll save it for later.
I will explain this. Don't hate me forever.
Yet. Yet.
I will explain it and then you can hate me if you don't.
Whatever. I think people listen to this because they hate me anyways. That's fine.
Oh, cool.
But
awesome.
Oh, man. But man, I was fuming. I was fuming when I saw Black Panther. When I see Black Panther and I hear Best Picture, I just go, no. Because first of all, I think Black Panther in Civil War, the character, is 50 times better than Black Panther that was in Black Panther. So Chadwick's character in Civil War was awesome. I thought it was a guy who was on a revenge mission. He wanted to save his dad. And then when it comes down to it, he makes the better decision because of his dad. I think that's a way better character than I don't really know how to be king. And this villain has way better morals than I do. Which, first of all, that's MBJ. Debatable. I don't know. I think MBJ had a better reason to. Well, think about. I mean, we could break down Black Panther hypothetically, but I don't want to do it.
I don't think
because I didn't think it was that good of a movie, so I'm not gonna do it.
Also, would need to rewatch that. I mean, it's been a sec.
Could you sit down to rewatch Black Panther right now if you wanted to?
I would.
I'm not saying if somebody held a gun to your head, could you sit down and watch Black Panther? I'm saying if you had the option to sit down and watch Black Panther right now, would you?
Would it be by myself?
Yeah, by yourself.
Probably not.
Neither would I.
It would be like if some of my friends wanted to watch it, I would watch it. But like, it's
all right, I guess it's on. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yes. In that instance, I'd be like, whatever, just put it on.
Yeah. I definitely didn't hate the movie.
No.
Or at all.
It's a fine movie.
I don't rewatch a ton of movies.
No, I'm the exact opposite. I would watch everything.
So that's part of it, but yeah, I don't think. Yeah,
it's on Netflix. Have I sat down and rewatched it? No, because I don't think I need to. I saw it once. I saw it twice, maybe 3 times. I see Marvel movies a lot when it's in theaters, so I like to break them apart and I like the big picture stuff. But no, I don't want to rewatch it, and that's where because the thing was, first of all, overhyped. One. I listened to the soundtrack maybe 1,000 times.
Yeah, it was
kind of kills it for me now. Do I still love every song on that soundtrack? Yes, I do.
Yeah, it was good.
And also when the DVD came out, do you remember all the freaking advertisements for the DVDs so they could sell as many freaking copies as they possibly could? Am I the only one that remembers that?
I don't remember that.
My God, it was every other ad. It was a Black Panther ad, and I go, I'm done. Just put the fucking movie out on DVD. I can't do it anymore.
And then you bought it.
I didn't. I definitely didn't. I think my mom bought it because my brother and sister really loved seeing it, or my family loved seeing it. But I didn't. I was so out of it. Couldn't do it anymore. That being said, they're going to make a Black Panther 2. Will I go see it? Absolutely. Will I like it? I don't know. Hopefully. Bring back MBJ. That's all I got to say. Anyway, so you don't like Marvel movies. I'm just going to do this now.
Okay.
You're not a fan of the MCU.
Yeah.
Which you think I'm going to yell at you. And like when we originally had this conversation, I'm kind of getting glimpses of thinking back on it. I'm not that upset with you. I understand why.
It's not that I don't. It's not that I hate them.
Okay.
I don't love them. That's it. I would say that as we've progressed in this Marvel,
as we're on our like 20th,
that's part of the problem to me.
Continue.
That I think that there are just too many Marvel movies all at once. That it's just like I'm struggling to really care anymore about the newest one. You know, like you just keep throwing them in my face, and I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of desensitized to it a little bit. Like I'm struggling to care as much. And I think I walk out of, I want to clarify though, like I will go to a Marvel movie and I will walk out, I'm like, that was a pretty good movie.
That's fine.
But I don't see a point. I can't envision myself ever from this point on having a Marvel movie be like in my top 10 movies.
Okay.
Because of the genre itself is.
Do you think it's formulaic?
Very much so.
I agree. Like Marvel movies have a formula.
Yes. And I think I think it's a lot of superhero movies. It's just the whole concept is like, oh, you have superpowers or something, and then there's some villain, and then you defeat them.
Okay.
And like, I understand that people are like, but Infinity War. But it's like,
I love it. Okay. I get excited every time I hear it.
But
such a fanboy over here.
But my point is, I watched that movie and I'm like, we're fine, guys. They're fine.
Yeah.
They're not gonna. They told us they're releasing a Black Panther 2, a Spider-Man 2. How am I supposed to care?
I'm also upset.
I'm like,
I'm upset.
Like, oh
no, what's gonna happen?
They're temporarily gone for like
a year.
Yeah. And then like
and most of them will be back. The
next movie and probably last 30 minutes, a reverse snap.
Yeah, so they say it's probably gonna be time travel, which low key I'm really excited about. We'll get into Endgame in a little bit. I said Endgame because that's what the title is. I don't think you're wrong. I think Marvel movies have a formula. I think yes, people are gonna get sick and tired of the formula. When I see Doctor Strange, when I see what's another good example? When I see Captain America, when I see Ant-Man and the Wasp, even, I think, yeah, it's definitely a formula. I could have scripted this a mile away. I could have saw all of this coming. That being said, do I think some movies are kind of stretching from the formula? Yes. I think a good example is Ragnarok. Black Panther was kind of out of the formula. Ragnarok, you can't even argue. It was completely different.
Okay. But it's
so much different.
I really enjoyed that movie, like a lot.
Right.
But my like pet peeve with that is like, who is this guy claiming to be Thor? That is not Thor. Like
the new Thor?
Like he's like being a jokester or whatever.
I love it. What? No. Yes, rewrite him. He's so much better now.
Well, he
was unbearable when he was in like Thor 1.
But we already have like 20 funny guys in the Marvel universe.
Oh, you don't like the funny guys. I think that's what it is.
I like the funny guys. I just don't need 20 of them. Like, it's not as funny anymore when everyone's trying to make their joke like every 10 seconds. And I think that you need a little bit of balance of like a character
drama.
Like, yeah, like he doesn't. I think it's funnier if he's not joking around and doesn't get the jokes and stuff. Like that's what they were doing before. And
like Drax.
I
agree.
I
love
that's
Drax.
really funny. And they had done that with Thor, but then Ragnarok, it just felt like a completely different character. And I was like, I think it all started with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, I love it.
Which was an amazing
awesome movie.
I really, really enjoyed that.
Don't get me wrong. I love the Guardians, but
I think that they saw, holy crap, people really enjoyed this movie. Mm-hmm. And what about it did they enjoy? It was so funny. Like, it had a lot of humor in it.
You're right.
And so then they're like, you know what? From now on, all of them, we're all going to do that.
They're all funny guys.
But it's like, oh, when you bring them all together, especially like for something like Infinity War, I think you need a little bit of character contrast.
Don't you like people stepping on each other's like toes though? Like, tell me you didn't enjoy when Iron Man and Doctor Strange had an ego battle.
Okay, that's
the
funny.
stuff people want to see.
But that's like, I think part of that though is that was Doctor Strange's and Iron Man's characters.
Yes.
Thor was not that until they
rewrote him.
Yes. And that's what bothers me. It's like a betrayal of the character.
Okay.
And
that's a good argument. It's a really good argument.
I don't really like how they did that. I don't know. And I thought it was unnecessary. Like, they made an amazing movie. It was a real, like, I will not say that I didn't like that movie. But I felt betrayed. I was like,
do you think characters aren't allowed to be rewritten? Like, do you think once they write the character the first time, they have to be that character? And then
if it's the same, like, universe. And
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, you can tweak it.
Okay. That makes sense.
But you have to keep, like, the base of, like, Thor is, like, the serious, like, god-like character. Yeah. And I don't know. It just bothers me.
What if I can convince you of why they changed him to be the funny guy? I can convince you in maybe 30 seconds or less.
Okay, give it to me.
Thor is a god. Thor has been on Earth he was on Earth for almost 2 years after I think it was Thor Dark World. And he was on Earth with the Avengers. I think he became more human with the more time he spent around the Avengers. He started to develop human qualities. So that's why he was around Stark for a long time. He was around all of them especially if you watch Avengers Age of Ultron. They're really funny around each other, all kind of joking around. I think he developed that following. Mm-hmm. So Age of Ultron, and then it kicks into Ragnarok. That's why I think he's more of a different character, because he was on Earth for so long. He started developing more human qualities. That being said, he's more of a jokester because he's always been a jokester, but he kind of developed it more as he went on. And that's why when he goes into Ragnarok, he's more human than he was.
I think that's a good point. I'll give that to you. But I would like to just say, though,
you liked it better?
No, I don't. Do you honestly believe, though, that's the thought process behind that?
Yes, I do.
I really don't. I really don't. I think that they're like, we want to make a
funny guy.
Funny movie.
Okay.
Like, we want to make a movie that more people will enjoy. What do? We make him funny. It's not I don't believe that it's some like profound character development, because I think you could have done that a little more clearly than what they did with that.
Where they flipped the switch on him, he was somebody else.
Yeah, like It didn't feel like a progression. It was just like that.
Here he is. I agree. I think there should have been something in between Age of Ultron and Ragnarok that kind of kicked off him being a funny guy, because they literally kick him off with being a funny guy. The movie starts with him being a comedian.
He's sassing him, and I was
he's so funny. God, I can't even. Ragnarok, I love the movie. But yes, I do think that they should have, if they wanted to go that route, they should have taken a couple steps further with Thor's character development in Avengers Age of Ultron, because he was still like, oh my God, da, da, da. But yes, there's the argument there was a 2-year gap in between the events of Age of Ultron and Thor Ragnarok. I guess he was just kind of floating around space looking for any Infinity Stones, though. So I guess that's not really a good argument. I think you make a great point that they should have developed his character more. And yes. Yeah. Is that really your biggest issue with the MCU, though?
No, I think it's
Thor shouldn't have flipped his switch.
No. That's like,
I'm just picking on you.
No, it's kind of just like one of the side like
gripes.
It's more of, that's an example of them. They found their like magic formula and they're sticking with it.
Good answer. You make a good point, and I agree with you. That's one thing I can't like convince people otherwise, because they do have a formula.
And I just like I said,
you want something new. Yeah,
and I don't think though it's fair of me to ask that of a Marvel movie, and I don't think I'm really asking that. I'm not asking it.
Nobody's kicking the door down for Disney telling you, hell no, don't worry.
Like, I don't go in thinking, oh, this movie is going to change like superhero movies or whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't think they can really do that.
Okay.
I mean, I'd be very impressed if they did do that. and like we talked about, like I'd be very interested in like your Superman. Like
I want this movie
I think that's really interesting, and I think I would really enjoy that.
Yeah.
I just don't really.
No, it makes sense. Like I'm not even arguing with you. It does make sense.
Yeah, I will look to other genres to kind of fill that need of mine to like do something different or whatever. And that's my whole thing. That it's just like it's not going to be my top 10 movie. At one point, Avengers was definitely like my top 10 movie. When it first came out, I went to the theaters twice.
It's electric.
And it was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, this is so cool.
I agree.
But like, as I've watched more movies, it's kind of just moved down a little bit on my list. I still really enjoy that movie a lot.
That being said, the trailer for Avengers Endgame came out. You saw it. I saw it.
Yes.
I might have seen it a lot more than you have.
Just replay.
So what was your first thought when you saw the trailer? We'll get that out of the way.
I thought it was interesting that they focus first on Iron Man.
Okay.
I appreciate that. I like Iron Man.
I love Iron Man. He's arguably my first or second favorite character. Goes back and forth.
I think it's very, out of all the ways to be like, it's interesting his problem because, you know, in the world of you snap your finger and 50% of the population is gone, you wouldn't think your problem would be like drifting off in space. Yeah. You would think your first problem is like, oh, I turned to dust. And like,
yeah,
it's interesting that it's like, they do dive into a little bit of like, what happens to some of these people who are like doing life things and just that happens. I thought that was interesting. So I like that. I didn't watch Ant-Man. Literally,
you didn't see Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Probably one of the only Marvel movies I have not seen.
It's really good, actually.
And then I'm like, oh crap, they're referencing
just the one
something
thing
here, and I didn't understand.
Are you going to see Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I mean, I might, but you can go ahead.
So I'll spoil the end of the post-credit scene for Ant-Man and the Wasp. So at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man goes into the quantum realm to get something. It's just a little task, and he radios back. He's like, okay guys, I can come back. And the thing is, the people who sent him to the quantum realm turned to dust. Yes.
Ouch.
So yes, so that's how it ties into Infinity War, and that's where they leave off the movie.
Okay,
so he's in the quantum realm, and the people who sent him in turned to dust, and he has no way out. So they say.
Did they know? I'm confused on how they assumed one way or the other he was dead. He was like just...
They don't know.
Yeah, but they had like on the...
Yes, I know that they said he was dead.
Yeah.
They assumed he was dead.
Okay.
Because they haven't heard from him. They haven't seen him.
Because he didn't show up.
They're like, yeah, he's been missing ever since. So they just assume he disappeared. Yeah. And he's dead.
Did they assume Tony then is dust?
I don't know. They didn't say.
You would think that they would go try to help.
They said if he's missing, I don't know. I think they've just assumed that if he hasn't turned up, that he's dead. I would assume that's what they think, and that they just have the people who are there now. That's all they have. But, so I guess my reaction to the trailer was this was everything I wanted in the trailer. They didn't show much, but they showed the reality of the world that we're in right now after the snap. They didn't show this crazy awesome fight sequence like they did in the original Infinity War trailer where they showed like the Wakanda stuff. They didn't show that. They didn't show them like fighting Thanos. They didn't show any of that. There was no action in this trailer, and I'm fine with that. I really like that. They showed the character development, which is all I want to see. Are we probably going to see a ton of action stuff? Yeah, at some point we'll probably have to see it because they have to sell a movie. The movie's going to make a shit ton of money. Like I'm fine with that, but where we left off, this was a trailer designed for somebody like me. Like when the Russos released this trailer, they go, this is for the people who've been on the ride the whole time. This is for you people who really live and breathe this stuff. And I truly believe this trailer, like I'm one of the people this trailer is designed for. It's a really egotistical thing to say, but like I truly believe that.
No, yeah.
And yeah, I thought it was as close to perfect as you could get because it didn't show much. It showed everything it needed to show. And the movie or the trailer had 270 something million views in 24 hours.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it blew away Infinity War's record by 30 million.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny. All the Disney trailers have like the highest views. It goes like Endgame, Infinity War, like Lion King, and then goes on. Okay. And then like Star Wars Last Jedi. Yeah, so I think it did everything it needed to accomplish. I don't know. What do you think is going to happen in Endgame? Do you care? Like, what do you think the end game of Endgame is? I'm genuinely interested from somebody who isn't so like engrossed in the.
Well,
MCU.
all the dust people are coming back.
Correct.
Like 100%.
Not all of. Yeah, I don't think all of them are, but
all the dust people.
Well, I think the 50% will come back, but I think people will die.
No, I agree. I think that like, this sounds terrible, but what I hope they would do if I was deciding something here, I would definitely kill off a solid Avenger.
Yes, like, they're
one
going
of
to.
The original, because like this was a big battle, and I think that you need like a legit casualty for it to have like an impactful, like, you know.
I agree.
Impactful impact.
No, it needs to have an impact, because we almost feel like at the end of Infinity War, it's like, oh my God, this happened. But then in the back of your mind, it's like, well, there's another one of these coming in a year. Yeah. Spider-Man's coming, Black Panther's coming, and now we know Doctor Strange is coming.
Right.
It's like these people are going to be back, and that kind of took everyone out of it. Do I think that all the 6 or 7 year old kids who went to the theater and saw Spider-Man pass away, do I think those people kids are losing their minds? Oh yeah, those kids went home crying.
Yeah,
I could just see myself at 8 years old, like seeing the end of Pirates of the Caribbean 2, where Captain Jack dies. I could just see myself. I had dangerous flashbacks to that when I heard some guy tell him about his kid's reaction in the movie. Like I could totally see that, and like if I was a kid growing up with these, I would be bawling my eyes out. That being said, does 20-year-old Parker Wesley think these characters are dead? No. But do I think that a good, not necessarily a good chunk, do I think some characters are dead? Yes. I think Iron Man's dead.
Yeah.
I think Iron Man is DED dead.
I feel like that would be my choice, which is like the most devastating to me.
Yeah, no,
because I
will
like
cry.
him the best out of the
I thought he was dead in Infinity War, and tears were shed. No, tears were shed. I go, this is how they do it. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
She's not even gonna make it to the next one. I was crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was so emotional in that movie, but
yeah, I think
it's funny because they've foreshadowed it. So what they've done, I think I've told this before, but I think Iron Man is the Uncle Ben of the MCU, and here's why.
Oh, okay.
Here's why. Spider-Man is the future of the MCU. There's no denying that. Spider-Man is gonna go crazy. Tom Holland is the golden pony for the coming Marvel universe. And I'm glad with that. I love Tom Holland. I love Spider-Man. I love everything about that. That being said, we didn't see anything about Uncle Ben in the original Homecoming, which is fine. You don't need to. I'm not saying you do. That being said, do I think Spider-Man has a reason to be as heroic as he is, or be like almost the golden goose of the MCU yet? No, I don't think he does. We haven't gotten that motivation yet. So do I see the only father figure that Spider-Man has been presented with being killed off, and Spider-Man having to watch that person get killed off and feel like it was his fault, and that's why he believes that everybody
the replacement for Uncle Ben?
And yes, and do I think that's going to be the most emotional scene in movie history? Yes, I do, because I feel like they built up Iron Man, and he's one of the greatest characters of all time now. RDJ, Tony Stark, is one of the greatest movie characters of all time now. Do I think we're going to see him get killed off? And we're going to see an exchange of the guard? Yes, I do. And I think it's going to be one of the best scenes the movies ever put out.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that, like, as you were describing it, it's kind of weird that, like, I'm excited to see that.
I'm going to bawl my eyes out.
Which is very weird.
No,
like,
I'm going to be
to
miserable.
See a very, like, emotional scene.
I think Tony's going to have a kid when he comes back. I think Tony's going to have to sacrifice.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about
that. I think Tony's going to have to sacrifice his kid when they go back in time to redo the 50%. I think there's going to be a lot of emotional scenes people aren't ready for yet in this movie. Like, I truly believe that this movie is going to be something really, really special. Like, I thought, don't get me wrong, Infinity War, amazing. I thought it was a really good movie. But that being said, they couldn't do everything they wanted to in Infinity War because there was one more coming. Do I think they can take way more risks in Endgame? Yes, I do. I think Pepper is going to be pregnant with Tony's kid. And and when they have to go back in time to replace the snap, I think he's going to have to sacrifice his kid. I truly believe that.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of emotional scenes that, like, you could hit on that people necessarily haven't really looked at. Do I think Cap is going to go back in time and see Peggy and have to give her up? That's a very real option. Do I think Peter could have do I think Spider-Man could have a moment like that where he has to go back and see, like, Uncle Ben? Because time travel is going to be on the board in this next movie.
Yeah.
That's just going to happen. They're going to have to redo the snap. Do I think Thanos is going to have some crazy emotional moments? Yes, I do. I think Thanos is going to continue to be developed, and I'm actually going to feel bad once they do something to him. Because Thanos was an amazing character in Infinity War, and that's something people don't like to look at.
No, I think there's something about him it's kind of strange.
Yes.
That he's a mass murderer, but
he's got motivation.
Yeah.
And it's a motivation that kind of makes sense. Yes. And that's why he's such a strong villain. And he's the strongest villain that MCU's ever put out. And I think he didn't necessarily fix the MCU's villain problem, but he's the best villain MCU's ever done. Next to like MBJ, and there's a couple other ones that I like, but I don't know. I think Endgame is really going to be something special when it comes out. I think that if it's going to be as good as they want it to be. I think if they want to take these risks with these emotional moments, if they want to make this not necessarily a drama, but if I think they want to have these really heartfelt moments, yeah. I think Peter's going to have to look at Gamora and watch her die again?
Oof.
Yeah, I think that could happen. Do I think there's all these things that people could look at the things they've lost and then have to give them up for the greater good? These moments that would be so dramatic to us because we've developed these bonds with these characters, which go back to the DC. We've developed bonds with these characters over 10 years. Like if Iron Man dies, that's 10 years of character development that's dead. And do I think that'd be huge? And it passes the torch on to the next heroes. I think that would be amazing. I can't say it enough how perfect this universe has been crafted and how much all of these decisions that they could make in this next movie make more sense now because of all this development.
Yeah. I just really, I'm kind of on the side, like I'm hesitant to get my expectations up just because I think everything that you described would be really, really cool to see. I just think because of my viewpoint on they're very formulaic, that it wouldn't surprise me if they just kind of did like kind of an easy fix, and then we fight Thanos and then we
with
win.
All the Avengers. They beat him. Oh my God. Sing Kumbaya. Here we are.
Yeah.
I do. And don't get me wrong. I'm actually really afraid of that. Like I'm very afraid, but after seeing Infinity War, I was thinking the same thing going into Infinity War. I was horrified and incredibly excited going into Infinity War. Like it's like I was on like cloud 9 the entire week going into that movie. And I remember being like petrified of all the decisions they were going to make. That being said, I walked out of Infinity War going, okay, that might be my favorite Marvel movie. I truly like, I enjoyed almost everything about it. I got almost everything I wanted out of it. And it set a lot of things in motion that I'm really excited to see going forward. That being said, do I think that there could be a lot of like stupid decisions that could like not necessarily like overwrite Infinity War, but kind of like take away some of the momentum they've done? Yes. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I think the Russo brothers are amazing directors. I think Kevin Feige is just so much better of a producer than anybody else right now because of what he's done and everything else that the MCU is doing. I think that it's going to be an amazing movie. I don't see a world where this movie isn't at least 90% like Rotten Tomatoes. That's a bad score, but not a bad score, but like that's a bad way of ranking it. But I do believe I don't see a world where this movie's bad. I just think I don't see a world where this movie is perfect either. I don't know. I'm contradicting myself here. I kind of lost my train of thought.
I think a little back to with what they did with the trailer a little bit. I personally think that it's like I know people would be angry, but you could literally just be like Avengers Endgame, May, whatever.
I don't think people would be upset. That's all I want.
Just that. Yes. Because it's like, everyone's going to go see it anyway.
I agree.
You could literally show people nothing and then they're like, yeah, I'm going.
I think they could easily make $700 million by not showing a single trailer.
Yeah, I know. Save that
being
money.
said, do I think they could make 1.8 billion or 2 point something billion to be the highest grossing film of all time with no trailers? No, I don't think that's true because there's enough Joe Blow people who went to see Infinity War that because of the promotional stuff, and they were like, okay, well, this is amazing. But they would need to get almost pushed back into the theater. That's what I think. That's why I think they could just get away with that, unfortunately. But in a perfect world, yes, I'd love to see no promotional material whatsoever. Just go, here's a movie, go see it.
They don't even give you the date. Just one day, they're just like, yeah, it's out now. They're like, oh crap.
That'd be an easy way for them to make like $500 million on a movie that should gross like $2 billion.
Yeah,
but
I just thought it would be funny.
I do think that'd be funny. I don't know. I don't know. I think this is gonna be an amazing movie. I can't get around it. I do think, and it's kind of up to them how amazing it's gonna be, which is kind of stupid to say, but
yeah. I mean, despite what I've said before, like I'm 100% seeing this movie. So
you know what I think could be something that actually kind of tears this movie down? Have you seen the Captain Marvel trailers? There's 2 trailers now.
Oh, I've only seen one.
Which is fine, yeah. Which one did you see? Did you see the newest one or the older one? Who, I guess, was there a cat in this one?
No.
Then you saw the first one.
Okay. Yeah.
So I hated both trailers. I'll be honest.
Really? Yeah.
There aren't very many Marvel movies that I sit down and I see a trailer and I go, I don't like this. That being said, to give a caveat, I didn't like Guardians when I originally saw it. Not this movie, but when I saw the promotional material, I was like, this looks stupid. I can't believe they're making this movie. So I don't care. Ant-Man was another good example. I didn't think it was going to be all that good. So big caveat. I've liked every Marvel movie that I didn't like seeing beforehand. I mean, what they've shown in this movie, like if this didn't have Marvel on the title, I wouldn't go see this movie. From what I've seen.
See,
this looks stupid.
I find that very frustrating.
Yeah, I'm very frustrated by it.
That Marvel now has like kind of the I can do
the magic
no wrong.
Touch. Yeah. I don't think
kind
that's
of
bad.
Thing that no matter what you put out, a lot of people will see it. And like, of course, I'm like, take advantage of that. But I'm like more frustrated for like other people who have decided not to go like the superhero movie like route and are kind of trying to pursue other things, and it's a lot harder.
I agree.
Way harder to make a lot of money. But then again, it's like it's hard to get in because superhero movies do so well that you have to be pretty
okay, well here's
good.
A counter argument. Would you go see a Harry Potter movie? Harry Potter 9 comes out tomorrow. Would you go see it? Were you a Harry Potter fan?
Yeah. Okay. I actually was. But
if like, Harry Potter 8, the book comes out tomorrow, movie's set to come out in a year, would you go see it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
you liked the Harry Potter movies, didn't you?
Yes.
Most of them were good. I think they're all good. Were there any bad Harry Potter movies? I didn't like Chamber of Secrets that much, I guess, but
I don't like Chamber.
Not really. That was a dumb
I didn't
movie.
really like Order of the Phoenix. And
I liked Order of the Phoenix.
See, that I think I'm very controversial.
Which is fine, no problem. It's personal preference, but that being said, would you go see a Harry Potter movie tomorrow if it came out? Harry Potter, not Fantastic Beasts, because obviously people know I don't like Fantastic Beasts.
Sure, yes.
Would you go see a Harry Potter movie tomorrow? Yes. Same thing with Marvel movie. If Marvel puts his name on anything.
Yeah, and I think that's just a fact of the matter. I'm just like,
no, it's fine.
It's kind of frustrating.
MCU hater, that's fine. No problem. No problem. MCU hater. It's okay.
Yep.
But yeah, if Captain Marvel comes in and saves the day, and the Captain Marvel movie is bad, I'm going to be incredibly frustrated. Like,
you think she like saved the day? Like
if Captain Marvel is the one that beats Thanos and saves the day and saves the Avengers, and I don't like Captain Marvel the movie, I'm going to be so angry, and I'm going to come on this podcast. I'm going to cuss a million times, and I'm going to be incredibly angry.
Wait, what is the timeline of this?
Captain Marvel comes out before Endgame.
Oh,
yeah, right now you see
this is a tight timeline.
Yes, it's a very tight window. So it goes Captain Marvel in March or February, something like that. Avengers in April. Spider-Man Far From Home in June or July.
Okay.
So it's a very tight window when these movies come out, and that's it for the Marvel movies, I think, in 2019. So here's what I'm saying. If I go into Captain Marvel, and I'm not saying I'm going to go in and try and hate the movie. I'm going to judge the movie from what I see. Obviously, it's got Marvel on it, so I'm going to like it at some point because I'm a Marvel pony. But that being said, what happens when I walk out of Captain Marvel? I go, that was a miserable movie. I hate Captain Marvel. They didn't develop her character one bit. I hate her. And maybe, God forbid, I don't like Nick Fury as much as I liked him before. What if Captain Marvel does nothing but bad things? Yeah. And Captain Marvel comes in and Endgame saves the day. All the Avengers have to go look at Captain Marvel and go, thank you, Captain Marvel.
Is she supposed... She must.
She's the Wonder Woman of the MCU.
Yeah, she must be. I was wondering if she would even be in
She's going to be in Endgame.
For sure.
Because did you see the post-credit scene of Infinity War? With Nick Fury and the girl from How I Met Your Mother?
He sends the message.
That's a Captain Marvel.
To her?
Yes, that's a Captain Marvel.
Oh.
That's what people didn't understand walking out. They're like, oh, who's that? Wonder Woman's coming to MCU? What? No. It's Captain Marvel.
Oh.
That's what so it was to lead into Captain Marvel.
Oh.
Because Nick Fury is going to be in Captain Marvel. Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, I saw that in the trailer.
A young Samuel L. Jackson. He's looking good.
Yeah, he's looking
really
great.
good. Hair dye. There's no makeup there.
Oh.
It's like all digital.
Oh, that's
because
so
Marvel
weird.
can just make, or Disney can just make people look young now. They just click a couple buttons and here we go. I mean, we can do Grand Moff Tarkin. We can do it with Princess Leia. We can do it with all this shit. Let's just make them look younger. They can do it Tony Stark in Civil War. Let's just do it.
That's insane.
Click the buttons. Do whatever you gotta do. Couple bill, who cares? Throw the money in. Disney, man. But yeah, I don't know. Somebody brought that up to me. They're like, well, what if you don't like Captain Marvel? And she comes and saves the day in Endgame. And I go,
that would be awful.
Yeah, that could be something really, really bad.
Yeah.
See, now I have something to be worried about.
Yeah. I mean, when I watched the trailer for Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I guess we should say what we don't like about it before I just start hating on her.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm just being a huge dick now. But
for me, again, there's nothing really
MCU that you're not we get that.
It's not really standing out to me.
Yeah, and I think she has no character development in the movies. It's like, I'm from a different world, but I'm also human, and I feel like I know things.
Yeah,
cool.
But you can't just base it on the trailer.
Yes, you're right. You can't base it on the trailer. But from what I'm seeing so far, don't care. Everything you show me, I want to see this movie less.
I enjoyed the grandma being punched.
Yeah, that was funny. I guess. So they introduce scrolls, which are cool. That's a cool thing in the comics, by the way. Scrolls are like, they're like aliens that can like shapeshift. I'm butchering this. Comic fans are getting pissed at me just talking. But they can shapeshift and appear to be somebody else. So there's this huge Marvel storyline about how some of the Avengers were scrolls and they had to fight the Avengers. It was like Secret Wars. Again, I could be butchering this. Okay. I think it was Secret Wars. And it was like Avenger versus Skrull, and they had to save the Avengers, which is cool. That would be like an Infinity War style event that they could do. Yeah. So if they set up the Skrulls, they'll be here and they can go back to them later on. Mm-hmm. That's what the idea behind it is. But then again, if you came out and go, Tony Stark's been a Skrull this whole time, I'm gonna kill somebody. That's not okay. You don't do that. That's off limits. Don't do that.
Yeah.
If you go, Hawkeye's been a Skrull this whole time.
Yeah.
Again, that's off limits. You can't do that. Yeah. That's just going to piss people off. You're going to make people like me really upset.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
So yeah, I didn't like it because there was no character development. And like I said, if you take Captain Marvel or Marvel out of the title, it's bland DC superhero trailer. It looks like an Aquaman trailer, honestly, because it's just like, I don't care. That's really what it is. And it's like, there's no character development. It's a lot of stupid action scenes. And I guess there's this really cool space scene at the end of the second Captain Marvel trailer. That's it. And then I guess the cat joke was pretty funny in the second trailer, which you didn't see, but there's a funny cat joke in it. That's it.
Well, I think, we'll just have to give it a shot and see what happens. I don't think you can.
No, I can't joke. No,
base it too much.
And I want to preface it. I'm not trying to go in and hate it. I don't want to walk in and hate the movie, but I'm saying what happens if I do. That's kind of what I've been saying. So, all right, I got to wrap it up. It's been... Got a good show in. Got a lot of thoughts. I don't know. This is Marvel talk. Marvel DC talk. I'm glad if I could just have a Marvel DC show, I think that's what I would turn the show into. Just Marvel DC show. So Rachel, do you have any final thoughts? Anything you want to pimp? Anything you got going on?
I don't even I guess I have an Instagram. There's one post.
Well done. You're doing well.
Over like 6 months of its existence. I think it's at Rachel Foy 5.
That works. I'll tag you on everything
Rachel
too.
Foy
so it's
5.
in the comments. Just go into the comments.
Yeah, check out those comments.
All right, at 129 Entertainment on Facebook and Instagram. Unless you're on Twitter, it's at 129 Entertain because Twitter is a bunch of hashtag bitches. They need to increase their cap limit. If you have ideas you want to hear us talk about something on the show, obviously go to 129ent.com/podcast. You can send us a message because guess what? Wesley Christmas special is coming up and people need to keep sending in their questions. Come on. Everybody loves Joanne. Just go watch it for Joanne. All right. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube the whole time, you might as well subscribe. Hit the notification bell because we post a lot of cool stuff. And let's tell you what, it's pretty good stuff. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's pretty good stuff. And also at 129 Parker on Twitter if you want to see what I have to say because I've been tweeting more often. I got back into Twitter. I back into tweeting, I should say. I kind of took a sabbatical from tweeting.
Leave of absence.
Yeah, I took a LOA. I'm back in now. I've been tweeting stuff and tweeting my opinions. Tweeted some crap about Captain Marvel.
Oh, gotta be careful.
No, it wasn't good. Sorry. All right. So, 129 Entertainment Podcast. We will see you soon.